Chapter 51. Come back to the table. They broke bread in their homes and ate together with glad and sincere hearts. Acts 2, verse 46. The farmhouse kitchen breathed warmth, not just from the oven, though it worked hard, steady, and faithful, but from something older, deeper. The kind of warmth that came from years of laughter and healing held within the walls. That lived in every nick in the floorboards and every window that rattled when the wind blew just right. The scent of rosemary, garlic, and wood smoke clung to everything. A lemon cake cooled on the windowsill, its glaze softening in the golden light. Ruthie stood near the counter, barefoot, one hand on her belly and the other resting lightly on Bear's head. He sat close, his gray muzzled face lifted, ever watchful, always nearby. The quiet guardian who had held space for her long before she had the words for safety. The baby kicked, low and steady. Ruthie smiled, but it came with a sting behind her eyes. There was something almost unbearable about this moment, about being here, about surviving long enough to feel full. Behind her, the screen door creaked open. Naomi swept in, cheeks flushed from the cold, apron dusted with flour. She held a dish wrapped in an old tea towel, and her braid had half unraveled, as it always did by mid-afternoon. James came in through the back, cheeks windburned and sleeves rolled up. Bear trotted to greet him, tail wagging with dignity. James gave him a scratch behind the ears before crossing the kitchen and pulling Ruthie into his chest. His hand instinctively slid over her belly.
"Hi there, little one.
He murmured.
You ready for your first dinner party?"
She's been practicing her kicks all day.
Ruthie said.
"She'll fit in then. This family's nothing if not loud."
They stayed like that for a moment, just breathing. James's chin resting on her head, Bear's head nudged between their knees. More footsteps. Margaret entered next, slowly, wrapped in the shawl Ruthie had crocheted for her. Micah followed in her wake.
"I brought dessert,"
he declared, holding up a pack of store-bought ice cream cones with pride.
"You're officially in charge of setting the table,"
Naomi told him with a wink. Bear followed him dutifully, nosing around his pockets for treats. Micah giggled and offered a biscuit from his pocket, which Bear accepted quickly. Neil and Pastor Luke arrived not long after, one with a guitar, the other with a sourdough loaf. The farmhouse filled slowly, but every soul who entered brought something sacred with them, something more than the food or the music or the stories. They brought memory, forgiveness, restoration. James had built a new table that was long and sturdy, oak and pine salvaged from storm-felled trees. Ruthie had sanded it herself, running her palms over every rough spot until it was smooth enough to hold plates and elbows and the weight of stories unspoken. Tonight the table was full of warm bread and soft butter, roast lamb carved thick, chutneys spiced and sweet, golden honey, lemon cake still fragrant from the oven, and mugs of tea steeped strong and familiar. It was messy, imperfect, holy. When every dish had found its place and each person had taken their seat, a gentle hush settled over the room. Pastor Luke looked around the table, eyes soft with reverence, and asked quietly,
"Shall we pray?"
James stood slowly, clearing his throat. His hand rested lightly on Ruthie's shoulder as he looked around the table. Mugs were set down. Even Bear seemed to settle at his feet.
"Would it be okay for me to speak this one?"
James asked. No one objected. James looked around at the faces before him, weathered, radiant, flawed, beloved, each one part of the story, each one a thread in the tapestry that had somehow, against all odds, been woven back together. He bowed his head.
"Lord,"
he began, voice thick with emotion.
"thank you. Thank you for this table, and for every soul seated around it, for the food before us, but more than that, for the hands that prepared it, the laughter that carried it, the grace that made space for it. Thank you for second chances, for homecomings, for the kind of love that doesn't need to be earned but welcomes us anyway. Thank you for Ruthie, for her strength, her softness, her courage, for the little life growing within her. For Bear, who reminds us that loyalty doesn't need words. For friends who became family and family who chose to stay. Thank you for Naomi, steadfast, wise, and loyal, for the way she speaks truth with gentleness and holds space like a sister. For Micah, his wonder, his joy, his messy enthusiasm that reminds us what it means to live with open hearts. For Margaret, whose quiet presence and faithful hands have mended more than clothes and warmed more than tea. For the wisdom she carries and the love she gives freely. For Neil, who shows up without needing words, whose presence alone steadies the room. And for Pastor Luke, who listens more than he speaks and reminds us what it means to walk humbly, love deeply, and serve without needing the spotlight. Lord, may this home always be a place of peace, a place of gathering, a place where the lost are found, where broken hearts find rest, and where no story is too far gone for redemption. We honor you, Lord. You've been here, in the fire, in the flood, in the silence, in the song. You are the reason this table is full again. Bless this meal, bless this family, and bless the days to come.
He opened his eyes to a hush that didn't need words. And then, Naomi passed the bread. Micah clanged a spoon against his cup. Margaret asked if someone could pass the lamb before it got cold. The room stirred back to life. Ruthie smiled as she watched it all unfold. Plates passed, stories swapped, tears and laughter mingling freely. James's hand found hers beneath the table, their fingers lacing like always. There was no performance here, no pretending, only love, only grace.
Thank you for listening to this chapter of Healing on the Land. If this story has touched your heart, I'd love for you to come join me for the next chapter. You can find it here on this channel. If you'd like to support more Christian storytelling, you can purchase the full book or make a donation using the link in the description. Your support, no matter the size, helps us to continue writing stories of faith, healing, and hope. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel. May God bless you, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day.